So I want to take a moment. Please forgive me, the lighting is horrible. But I wanted to take a moment because I had a stray thought driving home from the grocery store. And I thought about this wave of celebrities in the media talking about gender inequality and feminism, and the new wave of feminism that's surrounding everything, especially the media, anything from politics to movies and TV to video games, Gamergate. I know for me, I've never experienced that kind of harassment online, and I would get it threefold: because I'm a woman, because I'm black, and because I'm not a size 2. So, and I'm sure that if this blog was to take off, I would receive those kind of comments that would make me cringe and make me reevaluate some things. And I know these curls kind of make me look like an Orthodox Jew, but I'm missing is the hat. Be kind of cute though. But now I wanted to take a minute and talk about feminism, because until recently, I never really thought about feminism. I grew up in a fairly conservative household. I live in the Bible Belt in the South, so it's fairly conservative, religious. That's where you grew up. And the expectations were not career oriented. It was more graduate high school, go to school long enough to be able to support yourself, like some sort of trade or something, get married, have a family. That was the expectation. That was my expectation. But it didn't work out that way. But what I guess what I'm trying to say is, feminism was not a thing for me. Until recently, I didn't think anything of it. And there are different flavors of feminism. And there are the feminazis, and then there are the y'all are just taking everything out of proportion kind of feminists. But to me, feminism is just that: the right to be a feminazi, or to be kind of apathetic to the whole situation. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix, don't rock the boat, sort of thing. I don't know. What I think in terms of feminism, this is the way I define it. Now, I may be wrong to some people, but this is how I define, at Pretty Princess, I define feminism. I define feminism as the right and privilege to do everything a man does for the same amount of pay, for the same recognition, regardless of marital status, parental status, or whatever. The right to do everything a man can do, and the right to not do everything a man can do. Basically, being able to choose my life and not being penalized for it. If I want to stay home and make babies and cook dinner and clean house, which I don't know about that clean house part, but if I want to stay home and do all these things and let my man go off and work and do whatever, I have that right. I don't necessarily think it's a good idea. I mean, just looking at my own family situation now, my father has, with various periods of employment, my father has been the breadwinner of the family. They've been married over 30 years. My mom worked periodically, but for the most part, she was a housewife. And I read an article just yesterday or last night that said something along the lines of my mom, the woman was grinding about her mom. She said her mom really regretted not working during their childhood, because when circumstances that my mom now finds herself in with my dad, with my dad's cancer, diagnosis of cancer, and having to deal with bills and everything, she finds herself in a position where she can't really do anything now, because she has to make sure everything goes well for him. If everything goes well, he still has to have a 100-day period of isolations, and so she has to wait on him hand and foot and basically shut up the house for over 3 months. And it's not like she can go out and work during that time, because he has to stay in one room in the house. So basically, the article said that her mom really regretted, because whenever her husband, the father, died in an accident, she was suddenly faced with the need and the expectation of going back to work. But because she had been out of the workforce for 12 years, even though, in the past she had the experience, she was out of the workforce for 12 years. And so that's why I feel that is not exactly it for me. I've technically been out of the workforce for almost 5 years now. And I'm not looking forward to my new round of interviews. Now that I've gotten my depression beaten back somewhat, where I can actually see and breathe clean, free air on occasion. Because if it was this time last year, I would not be talking to you guys. I would not be talking to you guys. I would not be sitting here in my pretty blue hair and my pretty pink lips, and I wouldn't be doing all that. Because I'd be in my pajamas with my hair all kinds of crazy ways, all done in a twist, and playing Xbox. I don't know. Assassin's Creed, woo! Although not lately, because they grew too big too fast. But that's a whole nother matter. Anyway, feminism. I do love the way I meander. Feminism. A lot of people would look at me and say that I am not a feminist. Again, when I see things like Gamergate last year, and women being harassed simply because they had an online presence, and how in the world did it get so far so fast? It was ridiculous. But it also brought up a good point, because it made me start thinking about certain things. Now, like I said, I play video games. I do realize that I have like 12 games that I own, and only one of those have a female protagonist, Tomb Raider, which would be about the only female-led game in most people's game library. Even the little casual hidden object computer games, like there's a series called Dark Parables. It takes fairy tale storylines And, they got the Little Mermaid and Rapunzel and, the Snow Queen and Briar Rose. It has all these different things. But you're playing as a man. You never see his face. All you see is his hands, and you never hear his voice, but you see the hands, and you know that's a man. You can't escape it. So, it's like whenever it's almost like you have to have your eyes opened, but once you do, you see it everywhere. It's like another example. I am a big Joss Whedon fan. If Joss Whedon is anywhere near it, I'm there. The only exception is Cabin in the Woods, because I'm not really into scary stuff. But then I found out that it's more funny than scary. I still don't want to see it though. But I grew up on Buffy, Angel, Firefly, Dollhouse. Well, not grew up on Dollhouse, but those were my shows. If Joss Whedon's anywhere near it, I'm there. With the exception of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they kind of floundered in their first 5 episodes or so, and I pretty much stopped watching TV at that point. But whenever I started noticing more and more things in the media as far as women representation, I realized something. Joss Whedon is great at female-driven characters. He's great at that. But he does it in such a way that I don't like. Because he has these female characters. And they're, you can't even say they're all black or they're all short or they're all teenagers. Yeah, you can't even say that. He has great, or not all black, all white, I meant, sorry. Yeah, the Black Buffy Summers, yeah. You can't even say that. But his brand of feminism is like reverse misogyny. And to me, that is just trading one problem for another. Having a misogynist viewpoint is no better. The most extreme feminazi, let's put it like this, the most extreme feminazi, to me, is more on par with the most extreme woman-hating misogynist thing. There are two sides of the same coin, because Joss Whedon may write great female characters, but he does so if they're in the lead. We ain't counting Avengers in this. If they're in the lead, they're at the expense of the male characters. And the problem with that is it's trading misogyny for feminism. And it's not even good kind of feminism. It's the kind that the people pay attention to because they latch on. It's like, a parent or a childless couple adopts 6 kids, pulling them out of the foster system. That's great. A childless couple is drunk and plows into a van with 6 orphans. That is going to be the lead story on the news. Feminism, again, it is the equality thing. It's not bringing men down. It's raising women up so that equal playing field. And again, I was raised in a conservative religious household, and in the kind of wait till you're married kind of thing to have sex. I'm 28 years old. My birthday is in a couple of weeks. I've never been married and I have a 6-year-old son. You can see how well that worked out. It worked for my sister. It worked for my brother. It didn't work for me. If I could, I'd go back though and do it all over again. And that to me is part of being a feminist. Having the fortitude, the morality, the courage, the my own personal morality, ethical standpoint, whatever you want to call it, to not have kids. Like my sister. My sister doesn't have kids. She's worked in the same place for almost 20 years. She's been married to my brother-in-law for almost 20. It'll be 18 this year. And they don't have kids. They have 4 vehicles. They have a 3-bedroom house. They have a dog. They don't have kids. And that's fine. And it worked for her. It didn't work for me, but that's okay. And that to me is feminism. Being able to say, I want a career. I want to stay at home with my child. I want to be married. I'm okay with not being married. I'm not saying that, by the way. But that is what I feel like. I feel like that's missing a little bit, because the articles that I read tend to push the whole equality of pay or something like that. They don't really talk about how feminism differs. They always talk about careers and this and that. And again, that's fine if that's what you want to do. But that's not what I want to do. I mean, it'd be nice, but I don't have the drive and ambition to make a career out of something like that. Not yet. I haven't found anything that I would have that drive for. But I want a family. I want a husband. Well, I have a family, but I want a husband. I want a partner. And that's what my brand of feminism is. To be able to say, I'm okay with being who I am. And I stand beside a man in all the things in my life. Not behind, not underneath. Beside. So I'm going to sign off now. And hopefully if anyone ever watched this, you'll forgive the pauses in the extended video. And sometime in the future I'll get better at this. But if nothing else, I want you to evaluate your brand of feminism and truly be okay with it. I'm not trying to convince you around in my way. I'm just stating what it is.